Hello, welcome to your video for chapter 13. Hopefully you guys have made it through the first 3 weeks. You are in your final week for this first class, but you do have another 4 weeks of the ICD-10 coding coming up, so don't forget about that. It's not completely over, but you guys are doing so well, and I'm so proud of you. I'm mostly proud of the ones of you who are brave enough to ask those questions. So don't forget that we cannot answer your questions if you don't have them. Don't sit back and let yourself get frustrated or feel like you just don't get it and you're going to give up. That is not the answer. You need to make sure you're asking us for help if you need the help. Do not just let yourself get so frustrated because you can't find these codes that you don't ask for the help that you need. We can do live Zoom meetings with you. We can meet you on campus if you need us to. We can email back and forth as many times as you need us to. We can call you on the phone. We'll do whatever it takes to help you guys get through this. So this week this chapter, we are studying diseases of the ear and the mastoid process. These diseases contain disorders for the ear and the mastoid. It's chapter 8 in your tabular section of the ICD-10 code book, and the code ranges from H60 through H95. The structures of the ear, it includes your external ear, which is the visible part of the ear. The pinna, some of you may not pronounce it that way, is the flexible cartilaginous flap, that little piece on your ear that some people will get pierced for migraines and things like that. External auditory canal, this is also known as the external auditory meatus. Your carmen, which is your earwax. Tympanic membrane, which is your eardrum. Your middle ear, also known as the tympanic cavity. It also covers the malleus, which is the ear bone shaped like a hammer. The incus, which is the ear bone that is shaped like an anvil. If you don't know the difference between the two, you obviously don't watch Vikings or didn't watch Vikings when it was on in history, in the History Channel. The stapes, which is the ear bone that is shaped like a stirrup. And the eustachian tube, this is what connects the middle ear to the pharynx. And the oval window, which separates the middle ear from the inner ear. Your vestibule, central portion of the inner ear, the semicircular canals, these are the 3 bony structures that are filled with fluid, which vibrate off of your eardrum. Cochlea is the snail-shaped bony structure, and the organ of Corti, the true organ of hearing. So there's a great little diagram here that gives you what all's included in the external ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. Because a lot of times we'll have, our little ones will get ear infections and the doctor will say, oh, it's a middle ear infection. It's an inner ear infection. I mean, those inner ear infections, you are definitely knowing that baby's got an ear infection. So it kind of goes all the way into your sinus cavity and things like that. I mean, if you take a look at that face, the inner ear is actually all the way up almost into your cheek. So that's where all of that is contained, which when I found that out, I was a little bit fascinated, but it makes sense that whenever, you get an ear infection, it drains down into your throat. It drains through your sinus cavities down into your throat and things like that. It's kind of weird to think that something can get from your ear into your throat in that way. There's another little diagram in there that gives you more of a blown up version of the inner ear. It kind of gives you those little stirrup shaped, bony structures that they were talking about, the hammer and the anvil and all of those types of things that we talked about just a minute ago. All right, for your coding practice, we are going to just do a couple of these together. We are going to do the first one, which is hemorrhagic otitis externa of the left ear. Now, a lot of you are probably going to be saying, what am I going to be using here? What do I look up? Hemorrhagic? No. Otitis. Anytime you see itis, that means inflammation. Hopefully you remember that from your medical terminology class, but itis means we have inflammation of whatever they're considering OT to be here. So your main term that you would look up to look this code up would be otitis. So let's flip to otitis in our index. Otitis. Unfortunately, I did not pre-mark these pages before I started this recording, so I will be looking them up with you. O-T-I-T. Come on, book. Otitis. All right, in otitis, then you are going to go to hemorrhagic. H-H-H. Allergic. And then C. otitis externa, infective hemorrhagic. So we have to go back to externa, infective, C. otitis externa, infective, otitis externa, hemorrhagic, All right, so we're going otitis, then we're going down to infective, or otitis externa, and then all the way down, not acute infective, but all the way down past it where it says in due to, we pass that, we keep going down, infective, NEC, H60.39. That is at least, and then we go down under that to hemorrhagic, under infective NEC, hemorrhagic, H60.32. Now it does have a check mark there, which means we are going to need another digit. So we have to turn to the tabular section, H60, H60. In any office that you work in, especially if your office sees children, you are going to code this a lot. Ear infections being so common. Okay, so H60.32. 0.5, 0.1, 0.3. There we go. Hemorrhagic otitis externa, H60.32, and we have to have a 6th digit. So is it of the right ear or the left ear? In our case, it was, let's go back and see what it said, left ear. So our full code here would be H60.322. So to code this one, it would be H60.322. I got to quit saying O for you guys. All right, we're going to do a couple of the case studies. Case study 1, 2, and 5 are the ones that we are going to go over together. Remember, if you have questions about the other ones, you can always ask me or ask your instructor. I do want to remind everybody real quickly, when you're sending us an email, send it to us from your personal email address. Try not to use the My Course Connection email system, because if we respond back to you quickly, like from our phones or if we're out running around, it just kicks it back to My Course Connection and doesn't always go to the students. So make sure you're sending us your questions from your personal email, the one that we have on file for you, your Gmail, your Yahoo, whatever it is. Just send us those emailed questions from that email address. All right, that's it for my soapbox. Case study 1. It says the 9-year-old male patient was brought to the ER by his mother. His left external ear was warm to the touch, and it appeared red and swollen. He had a fever of 100 for the past 2 days. Upon otoscopic exam, the middle and inner ear were reviewed with no findings. There was definitely cellulitis of the external auditory canal. Antibiotics were given, and the patient was instructed to return to his doctor in 7 days or to call if symptoms worsen. This doesn't give us a diagnosis, so again, you guys are probably going, what do we code here? Well, the line that says there is definitely cellulitis of the external auditory canal, that would be the reason that they gave him antibiotics. So they gave him antibiotics for cellulitis of the external auditory canal. So that's what we code. That's his diagnosis. So our main term here, of course, would be cellulitis, and then we look up external auditory canal under cellulitis. So let's go find that. Cellulitis. Oh, my book is stuck. Cellulitis. And then we go to external auditory canal. See, cellulitis, ear. So go back up a little bit. Cellulitis, external, H60.1 with a check mark. So you have to flip to the back to H60.1, which if you threw your pen in there, we were already there just a few minutes ago. H60.1, and we need it of the, what ear did it say he was having a problem with? Left ear. So H60.12 is going to be our answer here because it's of the left ear. There is a notation to see cellulitis in ear in the index, so that did kind of help direct us to where to go when we were in the index, but it didn't give us that 5th digit that we needed to complete this code. Okay, case study number 2. 19-year-old female has been complaining of ear pain for 3 days and feeling tired. Eyes, ears, nose, and throat all appeared normal. Cervical lymph nodes unremarkable. The right ear shows otitis media is present. Antibiotics and drops were given, instructed to return in 10 days. So obviously we're going to code otitis media. If you look up otitis again, it gives us the H66.9. Then we have to go to the, under otitis, we would go to the otitis and then media and then acute. I don't know in the index if that's going to give me the last digit. I don't think it will. I think you're going to have to flip to the back to get to that right ear, which is going to give you H66.91. So make sure you're looking these up and finding them in the index and in the tabular section. All right, for the sake of time, we are going to jump to case study number 5. It says 31-year-old male is being discharged today following correction of deformity of the right pinna that he acquired during an automobile accident. His stay was uneventful, as most are in the hospital. The surgery corrected the deformity and there was no complications. He is instructed to follow the discharge orders that were given to him and follow up in my office in 1 week. So therefore we are coding deformity of the right pinna. So in this case, we would reference the main term deformity and then ear. The coder is then sent to the term disorder and then pinna deformity acquired. So in this case, you have to go to the main term, which is deformity, and then it sends you to another term, which is disorder of the pinna. Then you find deformity and acquired. Acquired meaning that he wasn't born with it. It was happened to him after birth. So the code for case study number 5 is H61.111. All right, we have got a password, or I have a password for you guys for this chapter. The password is ear. Real inventive, I know. The password for chapter 13 is ear. If you guys have any questions or you need any help at all with this chapter, please let me or your instructor know. Thanks, guys.